My name is Elroy Gust, and I am the president and CEO of Newlook Capital. And with me today is Oliver Blum, who heads up our Industrial and Infrastructure Services Fund. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the Newlook Operating Partners Summit that Oliver and his team recently hosted. Newlook's tagline is "We are invested." And for us, that means not only our own capital, but also investing in some key relationships that drive our business forward, including relationships with our employees, relationships with our investors and their advisors, and relevant to today, our relationships with our operating partners. Every year, we host this meeting of all of our operating partners, and it's a big part of driving that relationship forward. It's important to Oliver and his team, and they do a great job hosting it every year. Oliver, why don't you tell us a little bit about this year's theme, how you thought the meeting was, and the overall tone of the meeting?
Well, thanks, Elroy. We had an excellent meeting again this year with our operating partners. We had all 18 companies represented. And the themes this year evolved from last year. Last year's theme was how to sustain and grow EBITDA in challenging economic times. And this year we had two themes, taking a step back and working on the business instead of getting stuck in the business. As you know, all of our operating partners are very hands-on in their business. And part of what we're working with them on is to take regular times where they can take a step back and make sure they're pointing the business in the right direction from a strategic perspective. So that was one of the themes. And the other theme was closely related to that. We introduced a concept called Newlook's 4 Ps. The 4 Ps are profit, priorities, performance, and pricing. So the idea being grow profit by setting priorities, delivering efficient operational performance, and pricing our services at the upper end of our respective markets. And so we asked them the question, how can I use data and analytics in my business to help me better make decisions to optimize those 4 Ps?
Great. Yeah, no, those are excellent themes to go with. I was able to attend the conference this year. I really felt like the tone was much more upbeat than last year. And some of that might have been just from the performance lately of all of those businesses.
Oh, indeed. I mean, the portfolio as a whole has performed extremely well in 2023. Our overall revenue is up by 14% year over year. And that was the theme of last year's meeting, right? Was EBITDA. And EBITDA has more than doubled year over year, which is tremendous. So the guys really came through for us. Last year was quite affected by supply chain issues. This year, the guys have figured out those supply chain challenges and have really increased their EBITDA. Every portfolio company has succeeded in growing its year-over-year EBITDA by healthy amounts. And it's based on fundamentally increasing gross profits. So there's no magic really to it, other than it's very fundamental increases in gross profits, which are not only up on a year-over-year basis, but they're up over their 2021 gross profit numbers. And on a portfolio-wide basis, Elroy, our gross profit has increased by 16% compounded annual growth rate since 2021. We're really quite happy with that and how the companies have performed on that department.
Those results are amazing. Well done. I was really interested to see, even with maximizing pricing, I was impressed by our business's ability to pass on those price increases, be price givers rather than takers, especially around service and repair pricing. I was also intrigued with the fact that even though we've been able to increase prices, it's had an unusual effect on our backlog.
Right. Like as I just mentioned, like the businesses have successfully grown their gross profits in real terms, and that's largely a function of pricing. Okay. We work closely with several of the companies to help them analyze their pricing approach, and each of them executed price increases throughout the year. Most interesting is that those companies that increased their pricing early and more often throughout 2023 have done the best. They generated the biggest returns. And what's even more interesting is that those same companies are also the ones with the biggest backlog of business. So doing good work and pricing at the higher end creates a perception of quality in the market that customers are actually willing to wait for. So it kind of reminds me of the old saying, if you want something done, ask the busiest person.
That's great. Yeah, I thought the summit was a success this year. Well done. I'm sure that all the Newlook employees involved and our operating partners are looking forward to next year. I just wonder how you're going to top the whiskey tasting event that we all enjoyed so much. That was great. Thank you, Oliver, and we'll talk some more. Thanks.